CBS 4 is your local election headquarters. The passing of Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg now becoming a major issue in the November election. Democrats demanding that decision to replace Justice Ginsburg be made by the presidential election winner. President Trump and Republican leaders pushing ahead toward that nomination process. One of the front runners already, Indiana Notre Dame law professor, U.S. Court of Appeals Judge Amy Coney Barrett. The 48-year-old Barrett has a history of ruling in favor of Trump's immigration policies and supported expanding gun rights. Abortion rights groups have also expressed concern about some of her abortion-related votes. President Trump is expected to announce his pick later in the week. We are joined now by our Washington correspondent Jesse Tenor. And Jesse, before we talk about the nomination process, let's talk about the late Justice Ginsburg. What will be happening in Washington this week to honor her life and her legacy?
Yeah, definitely a busy week in Washington for Justice Ginsburg. She will be honored at the Supreme Court on Wednesday and Thursday, where she will lie in repose. And then she will make history once more on Friday, becoming the first woman to lie in state at the U.S. Capitol, and actually only the second Supreme Court justice to do that. The only other one was former Chief Justice and former President William Howard Taft. And then next week, she will have a private burial at Arlington National Cemetery, where her husband has also been buried.
Well-deserved honors there. All right, as we said, President Trump expected to announce his nominee this week. Refresh our memory on this whole process. It's going to be happening much more quickly than we remember, isn't it?
That's certainly what the president and Senate Republicans are hoping for. So once the president does announce his nominee, the process then moves to the Senate Judiciary Committee first for the major vetting process that a lot of people may remember, those contentious hearings from Justice Brett Kavanaugh's confirmation process. And so that's where most of the public hearings happen. And then lawmakers are also meeting behind closed doors with the nominee as well, vetting them. And so that's a process that could take weeks. But President Trump and Senate Republicans are really trying to expedite that. Even Majority Leader Mitch McConnell said on the Senate floor today that they will be voting on a nominee that the president sends forward. But he said by the end of this year. He didn't say by the election. And so that could still be done, since they technically, even depending on how the election pans out, they would still keep control until January. So that is possible. But even McConnell isn't able to put a timeline on it yet, because that's really going to come down to vote tallies.
There are so many questions that remain unanswered right now, including how the Democrats are going to be reacting. Everyone thinks that the Democrats really don't have any power in this situation, but how are they responding?
So right now, they're really pointing to 2016 and essentially referring to a lot of the Republicans who were in the Senate then as well as hypocrites. President Barack Obama, he tried to do the same thing earlier in an election year. He tried to get his nominee approved as well, but the Senate blocked that process. And McConnell today was saying that, well, that was a Democratic president and a Republican-controlled Senate. Now we have a Republican president. So he's saying that the people's voice would still be heard if they were to move forward and confirm this nominee before the election. But Democrats are continuing to push back on that and hoping and probably trying to encourage some of their Republican colleagues to come to their side of the vote.
As we said, so many questions remain unanswered tonight. Jesse Tenor from our Washington Bureau. Thank you for your time, Jesse. We appreciate it.